Okay, live video started. Okay, we're back. And this is a new one for me. I've never had to do this. I'm gonna be grouping together multiple plans into one plan. This is a multifamily, so a little bit different than usual. I'm in the comment section. I'm here, so if you guys want to chat with me, ask some questions, absolutely. Now, I've never done this before, but I'm really confident in my abilities in this software. So we're going to go through, as I would go through for a first time, setting this up and accomplishing the task, which is that I have multiple designs across multiple plan files that need to be grouped together because it's multifamily. We have a 4-unit multifamily, and we have 2 center units and 2 outside units. So not only do we need to um, flip these units across the center section of the main building, but we're also going to have to do some rotating now too. I haven't looked at these plans. I don't know what they look like, so I'm seeing this for the first time. And what I'm seeing already is that I have a garage on this side. My assumption then is going to be that I need to rotate this plan. So we'll start there. We'll start with just prepping the one plan file to be incorporated into a master plan. And not only am I incorporating it into a master plan, but I'm using my template plan. So I want to import this person's plan into my template plan because I'm going to be doing a lot of the work. So here we go. I need to rotate this unit. That's a simple process, but before I get to that, I kind of want to find the center of this plan. And there's a couple of things that I want to make sure that I'm establishing here, which is that if my client wants to update the design, they can do this on a unit by unit basis, and then I need a mode of approach to bring this into the master plan, where we have all of these designs incorporated together, just in case they want to use an individual plan. So um, with that in mind, I kind of want to pick a center point to rotate this about. So I'm going to do just an easy method for me. I'm going to draw a CAD polyline across this whole thing and then pick that center and just grab a couple reference lines based on that CAD. And then I'm going to place a point. Place point, which I have. I'm going to be using some of my hotkeys because I've set up new hotkeys and I want to start getting used to them. So I'll try to explain what I'm doing as I'm doing it, but you might not always see what I'm clicking. So I'll have to explain what I'm clicking as I go. So I placed a point in the center of this plan. And then what I want to do is I want to edit area. So I'm going to get into my edit area, and you can see here I've got a sequential hotkey. So, and I need to get used to this EAAF. So there we go. We've switched to that tool where I get to edit this area, and I can rotate this plan. Now I could use this edit handle rotate over here, but I'm actually going to get into my edit menu and choose my transform replicate, and then choose. I think I need to rotate this 270 degrees. Let me check on a few things, make sure I did that properly. There we go. I've got the garage in the front of this setup. So my plan north is up here. It's away from that garage. I'm going to have all garages in the master plan lined up on the bottom here. Now there's another aspect of this plan that's important. This is my center plan. So there's 2 of these in the center of this multifamily. And I happen to know that I need to establish some party walls that need to, by code, be replaced in these outside wall sections. This person, when they drew this out, just used the default exterior walls that they had set up. So I have some party walls set up that are specific to this project in my user catalog. And I can just search walls, but I'm just going to drill down through so you can see where I keep these things. And I called this an interior wall. There's debate there. But here we go. Here's my party wall. Now, couple things. Before I draw this wall out to replace this existing wall, I happen to know that this wall is not the same size as the existing wall. It's actually quite a bit smaller. So I want to draw this out, and I want to pick one detail about this, which is when I make a selection on this wall, I want to note where the main layer hits. And I'll show you why. I'm going to just draw out a CAD line. I hit L, drawing out a CAD line. I'm going to tab and see what this dimension is. I'm going to copy it. Okay, hit cancel, that's fine. That deletes that line. I know that this main wall layer is offset. So when I select this wall, it's offset 4 inches. Okay, The reason that might be interesting is right here. We'll show you. I'm going to draw a CAD box, Polyline box, and it's going to snap to the inside surface. And I mean, that's only so interesting, but here's the point. I'm going to then drag this out, tab, 4 inches. Now let me try that again. We'll do it a little bit more efficiently. We're going to hold C. Hold C. Oops. C. That's not working. Concentric's not working for me. Sometimes this happens and I need to reset my computer. Okay, so I'm going to drag this out, hit tab, time, third time's the charge, tab, 4 inches. Same thing, tab, 4 inches. Okay? Now that I have that set in place, I feel comfortable redrawing this party wall. The point of that is that I can now bring this in and snap it to that polyline that I just drew. Same thing, I've got this party wall, draw this, replace what I've got existing, and then snap it to that same place. Okay? Now I know those are aligned on the interior side. That's a great thing to note. Next thing I want to do is, and I can use my wall tool, area wall tool, and I can even do an intersected selection. Change that. And then I'm going to shift select in between here and select those 2 outside walls. It's just a quick way of doing it if I remember my hotkeys and I go quickly. Control C, and then I want to go up a level, up floor, okay? From here, there's no windows in these walls, so I don't have to worry about preserving windows that have been designed in. All I need to do is Control Alt V, place hold in place. I can go up another floor level, same thing. I'm gonna go down a couple floor levels, and then do that same thing, Control Alt V. Then I need to manually drag these back. I'm not changing this exterior wall on the front, plan south or plan north. Those remain intact. So there we have it. I have this pretty much set up to drag this into a new plan. So I'll hit Control N to get into a new plan, Control Tab to get back to my previous tab. And maybe I want to do that edit area again. EAAF, edit area, all floors. That's the hotkey I set up for it. Control C, Control Tab, Control Alt V. And what does this tell me? Default ceiling elevation. It's also going to tell me default floor elevation doesn't match the plan that we had before, right? And there's another issue that's going to happen here. I have 4 floors in this plan. Do we get all 4 floors? That's going to be the big question. So Control Tab to get back to this previous tab. We notice we're on floor 1. I believe if we had copied this from say floor 3, that the floors do not establish themselves in the same way when you bring it into a new plan. We can try that. Control N, new plan, Control Tab, and I have an edit. I'm going to do it again. EAAF. Remember that. There we go. I'm going to copy from floor 3, take it into this new plan, Control Alt V, and see what happens. We'll get that same error. And then how many floors do I get? I do get all 4 floors. So that's good. We kind of proved that. Control W to close. I'm not going to save. So here we are. I'm back. I have my new plan set up. I have this in place. Now I actually want to back up a level. I want to place this exact, and I want to do it while I still had my selection enabled. So I'm going to Control Z to back out one time. And I'm going to Control V. No Alt this time. I have a habit of always doing Alt V. And now that I have this, I want to place this based on a center marker here. I want to snap this. I'm going to take my snap tool. I'm going to pick up that. You can see my inference snaps go from being that edge snap to being that middle snap right there. And I can snap it to the center of my screen here. Now I have this aligned right where I want it to be. Now check this out. We're going to go back to this plan, and I could do a couple things here. I could just use the edit area and try to invert this, but I don't think that's a great idea. So instead, I'm going to go to my tools, reverse plan. That's a really easy method. Now I might want to save this as center-2 in my plan files. That might be a thing I should do. Another thing that I didn't do before I brought things over was I didn't rotate my labels. And it would have been helpful to do that considering I'm going to have to go through and do that again now into that new template. So a few things to consider before you bring this stuff over. I know that there's settings sometimes auto rotate on text, and sometimes that's really helpful. I'll show you a couple different methods, but the main one that I'm going to do is I'm going to delete my room labels and then bring them back in. So now I have this room flipped, hit area all floors, grab this again, copy it, Control Tab, Control V, I'll place it over here somewhere. Uncheck this so it quits showing me all this detail there. Okay, and then I can do my point-to-point move. Snap it right here. What happened there? What did I do wrong? Did something wrong, huh? See what happened. Doesn't help if you delete it. See. So let's get that point-to-point again. I want to make sure I'm snapping on that outside surface edge. In. There we go. Now we're set up. Look at that. Beautiful. So next up, let's get to my file folder here. And in here, we're going to find, keep in mind, I always keep the original. So here's the original from my client. Here's my new. Okay. In every next working session, I'm going to duplicate this folder and rename the folder and leave everything inside intact. So here's my end plan. Open this guy up. Should be open on this side. I'm missing some kind of font. Okay, so here is the end plan. We're going to have to do that same process to this one. If you want to get this center plan out of the way, I'm going to actually save this as. And actually, while we're at it, we're missing a hotkey for save as. Great time to set this up when you see it, right? Save as, file tool save as. I think this should be Control Alt save. Yes, there we go. What is that? No, I don't care about splines or camera spin. So there we go. We're going to save that. So Control Alt S gets me a save as center-2. And then I can close him out. Okay, so now we're into Control Tab gets us, this is our original plan. Maybe I want to save this. So we'll call this Lucille Multi-Unit. Okay. Oh, caps lock was on. Boy, that brings me up to a really good tool, by the way. You're converting from caps lock to lowercase. Maybe we'll post this on the feed. Let's pull up a little window real quick. Vertcase.net. We can accept cookies. We can type in here something like this, or we had something goofed up, right? And then we can change this to lowercase, uppercase, capitalized case, very inverse case. There we go. Very useful. And then download the text and bring it back in, or just copy the text and bring it back in. Super useful tool here, convertcase.net. In fact, bring this into my toolbars and bring it into some assets like my work assets or drafting and design. Here we go. So back to Chief. Control Tab, get over to this guy, and we're going to do that same thing. Edit area, all floors, make this selection, and then from there, make my rotation. All right. And now I need to do that same wall modification, but we've got a few other things going on here. One is that I notice I have a window here where I did not think there would be one. So that's an interesting little feature. I need to figure out what's going on with that and how these things actually align. So let me just start with our top level. I'm going to do that same thing. I'm just going to make a polyline. And actually, I can just select this room to start and make a polyline from here and then drag this over. It's probably a quicker way. And then we know that we can bring this over 4 inches, bring this over 4 inches. I want to see if my hotkeys, somehow I messed up my concentric. No. Edit behaviors, concentric, C or X1 button. Should still be working, but it's not. Okay. So here's my wall setup. Here's my party wall. Same thing. Gonna redraw this wall and then make the selection. I can drag this to snap. Right? And maybe it's helpful if we change this to like a hot pink. Love my hot pink. So we can change the line style, change this to something neon green, sure. That way we can see exactly where that snap is. Draw this party wall like so. I'm just populating right to that snap point. Easy enough. This one online, this one was online. Yep. So now I make these 2 wall selections. I can go down a floor. And there's a problem here. Well, we have windows. We want to save these windows, but what's that issue, right? We can't copy and bring in a wall from the floor up above, but also copy and retain the windows. So what's the process there? I've put in a request to Chief. I hope they get to this. I want an actual clipboard queue so that we can copy multiple items and then have them devised by components so that we have something I copied in terms of a window classification versus a wall classification. Anyways, we'll get past that. Here's the method. I'm going to use my window tool, WTW, and then I'm going to shift select my windows here. I'm going to copy these. I'm going to go up a floor. I'm going to Control V to paste, hold in place. Now I'm going to copy my wall, copy down a floor, paste, hold in place. And I need to go back up a floor, WTW, shift select, delete. Now you can see it's kind of convoluted, but I know my tools well enough to do it really, really quickly. So same thing. I can do the same thing. We've got windows here and here, right? You can copy this, go up a floor, Control V, paste, grab our walls, copy. I can copy that and I can actually delete this, right? I can delete those windows. Go down 2 floors and Control V, paste in place. Now 1 more floor. And we've kind of got the last little bit here. We can just grab these walls 1 more time. Copy, down a floor. Big mistake. What's the mistake? Well, I actually am replacing a wall that shouldn't be replaced. That's a big problem. So this is my outside wall. This is going to remain. That's no longer a party wall, right? There's my issue. Doing this on the fly, so that kind of stuff happens. I'm going to switch to contain selection mode and select my windows, copy this, and then drag this wall down and Control V those windows back. Up a floor, same thing. Shift my windows, copy them, select this wall, drag this down, Control V and back. One more time. Floor. Oh, and this one's straightforward. All right, now we have this all prepped. I think it's all prepped. I think that's it. So I can do my edit area all floors, make my selection, copy this, Control Tab, Control V, make sure I place this away from the action here, right? And then I can do my point-to-point move, catch that center mark. Can catch that center mark. It looks like it's there. Catch this center mark. Boy, that doesn't look like it's the center at all. Where is it? Is that it? Oh, we're getting inference from cabinets. So it might be good to place a point so that I know exactly where I'm going here. Do that. Place point. There's my center. That guy right there. Then edit area, all floors. Just select this point to point. Here's my center. Here's my center. Look at that. Beautiful. Look how nice this is coming together. One last thing, Control Tab over to our next tab, and then we can do reverse plan, area all floors, grab this, copy, Control Tab. I can do a place point again, get my center, make sure it's there, Control V, paste it off to the side, point to point. Oh, and we replaced the wall on that one. See if we can do that again. All floor. We're going to be grabbing some elevation markers, but we'll fix those in a little bit. Did I get my center? Right there. But this time we don't replace it. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful. Let's check this out. Let's see how bad we did. Now, I haven't even looked at the models to see if the existing models were any good, so this ought to be interesting. Check that out. That's cool. That's cool, and also this indicates a problem to me. I feel like, what do you guys think? You think the original design intent was to have this section open, or the inverse? It might be inverted, but we know the process now, so this is a pretty simple setup. Now there's one last kind of thing I need to do to really join this all together, which is, let's get down to our bottom floor, basement floor. Oops, wrong plan. Control tab, tab, and then down floor. And what do we need to do? We need to connect these. That's right. I can just connect this. This is going to auto connect like that. Same thing here. This is only for the purpose of building the foundation, by the way. We don't need to do this. We can split this still. It depends on, graphically, how are you showing this here county? What's the actual assemble here? There's a good point. This might actually need separation. So instead of doing that, let me back out. I might just modify my foundation. Right now I have it on auto build foundation. We could just modify it for ourselves. Like it's a little off anyways. Need to fix some things here. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just make sure that I've got the same floor height designations. My default floor defaults. That's my hotkey. There we go. I'm going to make sure that I have all this the same. 12 and 5/8 structure and 96-inch rough ceiling. And I don't know of any easy way of getting this over to my new plan. So it's kind of floor defaults again. Get into that first floor. We have a 5th floor here, and that's wrong. So why do we have a 5th floor? Or is nothing on it? That's good to know. That these are actually conformed to what it should be. It looks like it is from first glance. Like everything is perfect, actually. Okay, so what do we have as a next step here? I just want to make sure that my floor defaults are conformed. So floor defaults, again, just double checking this, 12 and 5/8 assembly. We can go in and take a look. 11 and 7/8, which is usually a TGI, if it is 11 and 7/8, if that's what's intended, and a 96-inch rough. So Control Tab, FD for floor defaults on my plans. First floor, 96, and then we're going to do a 12 and 5/8. Eighths. And I might call this an I-joist. Here we go. Okay, and we're done. Control Tab. I want to check just one more time. This is really important to get this right. So the rough ceiling height was 96. I have that part right. Then I want to get to my second floor. We have a 16-inch floor structure, 15.25 inch. 15.25 inch I joist at 121.5 rough. So this is just kind of going through the motions, right? Making sure floor by floor you've got everything set here. 1.5. And this is, I already forgot. Terrible memory of this thing. Double check this one. Yeah, I had this wrong. Might be that the client has this wrong. I'm not sure. Might be an unfinished basement as well. So it's something I might want to check on. What's up, Randy? Hey, thanks for chiming in, man. I see you in the chat. Hopefully it becomes easy for you too. And I'm typing in all caps. I'm sorry. Okay. So let's see. We're back on this plan again. Again, this is tedious work. Maybe it's not interesting, but it is my process. I want to just go in here, make sure I have everything set up the same way, floor by floor. This is a 15.25, 121.5. I say it out loud enough times, I kind of remember it. Not really. Not really. So 15.25 was what I was missing here. Off. And I can just add an eighth. That's always a thing. Next floor, make sure the same thing. 121.5. And there's probably some other settings that he has here that I need to check out, but these are the main, really important ones to keep yourself from making some errors. 8.5. I have a habit of doing decimals. I'm hoping at some point that translates to me knowing how to do metric really easy. I'm going to assume this is the same, 121.5. We're going to have to look at it one more time though. And that 15.25. We'll tab over. Floor defaults. Checking this top floor. Oh, see the top floor is 97.125. A little different. See the third floor. Third floor is right. Click done. Tab over. Floor defaults. Top floor is. Oh man, see, I already forgot. 96, I think. All right, and then let's look at this perspective overview. It's starting to look like. Okay, all right. A few changes. Cool. And that's it. We've got a multifamily unit. We pulled it from two separate plans. We flipped our plans. We rotated our plans. I can see a couple little fixes here. We've got some issues here. This is probably an exterior wall that needs to be set up. So a couple things that I need to check out. I had this drawn as party walls. In fact, they're not party walls because they're not extending through the floor platform. I didn't realize that this was open, so I'm going to go back and change that. That's a quick fix. Now we've got some foundation things that we're probably going to change. It looks like there's some different designations from the garage room to this room, which may or may not be true. I'm assuming that this is probably going to be all poured slab, so a few fixes there, and maybe there's some model fixes to have happen. But for the most part, this is a really good start. So now my client can do some design work on the entirety of the set, right? And then of course I need to figure out what's going on with our roof system here. We could try an auto build roof and see what happened. I think by default my roofs are set to auto build, so there might be some settings here that we need to change. Yeah, got auto build, rebuild roofs here, but got a couple issues here. This center wall seems to be a little off. Our build, right? That makes it a gable. Now if I select this center wall, this makes it a gable. Now we've got some even funnier stuff happening here, right? So a few things to fix. We could obviously just use manual tools, override automatic, and then get these things to clip properly. We might need to drag some stuff back and rearrange a few things. So there's a few issues here. A couple things just to fix in our auto roofs. Also join these roofs, right? Unionize these, bring them together, make one weird roof. Then you can join it with our adjacent roof. I love the clip feature too. The clip feature is awesome for this, where, well, I can snap, but also just drag this past itself and do some clipping. As long as that baseline stayed the same, be easy. See, when you drag it past itself, it's just going to clip this excess off. Right? Isn't that cool? And then you can come up and pop this to this intersection. I like designing in 3D. I hope they make this seamless, a little faster. It'd be awesome, right? I can take these two, delete these, grab this one, copy it, use my Control-Alt-C, and then my reflect about. Bit slow, but there you go. Look at that. Perfect roof. Done and done. Cool, right? So a couple of things. If we had designated these rooms as exterior rooms, these would actually be exterior doors, which they are not. So a couple things to note there. So if this was designated as a patio room, things I'm noticing, oh, it is in fact named a balcony, but for whatever reason, it looks like these doors were placed before this was named a balcony. So just grabbing this and figuring out where this is on the plan. If I go up a couple floors, now I can see where this is on the plan. And let me just copy this guy and then actually Control X him, cuts him, right? And then I can see where this guy is. He's 49 inches off. It's a 36-inch door. So if I delete this, and now I want to bring in a new door, which I haven't set up a door tool yet. This is how I do my hotkeys, by the way. Just filling up space right now. So just type in door, right? I want my basic hinged door symbol. Hinged door, right? So this is what it's called, door tools hinged door. You want to remember that to the point where I can easily commit this to memory whenever someone's asking me where a tool is. I can then go ahead and set this up, door tools hinge door. Maybe that's a little bit excessive, maybe, but let's stick with it, assign it. Now I can do door tools hinge door. Oops, door tools hinge door. Here we go. Now I've got it. Now I already forgot what that dimension was. Let's go back a level. Here we go. 49 inches. I still have the door tool enabled. I'm putting this 3.0 door here, setting it to 49 inches off the wall. And what we're going to see, Control Tab Tab, is in my exterior view, that just changed to an exterior door. You can see that now, right? So now I can hit my Control Alt V. Oh, I didn't save this door over here. Made a mistake. That's why it would be nice to have a saved clipboard. So I can grab this guy. And I can see what this dimension is. Pull this dimension, copy it, 0.25 off the wall. It's a 34-inch door. So door tools hinge door, right? Door tool hinge door. What was that? And left hinge in swing, 34. Tab over 2 inches. And it's 1/4 inch off the wall. 2.5. Oh, see, I had a side selection, so it resized it instead of just moving it. So here we go again, 0.25. There we are. That should be the same as that other side. This doesn't look like 0.25. What is this? This was 0.29. Oh, feet. I have um, feet inches. Oh, we're in my takeoffs, the dimension set. So let's go quarter-inch walls only. It's a little easier to understand than inches here. Yeah, that was 3 inches. It looks like 3 and some change, but running the drywall. Using a 3D mouse to get in here tight for this kind of stuff. Paste my 3 inches there. Still didn't work. Get this again. 3 inches. There we go. Now I have that set up. We've got a mirror. It would be easy to door tool hinge door and then shift contain select these 2 doors, right? Cut them or delete them, either way. And then same thing, shift contain selection, copy, reflect about, center is going to be center here. I draw a lot of CAD lines. Easier to just do this. Door, shift contained, copy, reflect, and now we have it over here. Really nice when you're doing these multi-units to remember all of your edit tools and how to utilize them when you're doing copy and reflect abouts, right? That makes such a big difference for doing that. Couple things that are going to be wrong on these balcony levels is we've got interior one side walls, so I need to establish exterior walls for the balcony. So we're going to be splitting. It looks like they're already split, but we're going to be changing this wall type. Easy way to do that, open this guy up, get into our wall types, define. We're going to immediately make a copy. Make sure you're making a copy so we're not editing a wall type throughout the project. And then we can set up what kind of finish is on the interior, assuming that it's the same finish here. Unfortunately, there's no easy way to copy this stack. I wish there was. I wish you could shift select and copy the stack, but you can't. So I'm going to insert above here and then also insert above again. Now I could do this couple, we could back up. Let me actually cancel this. I go back to define, I make that copy, and then I can actually insert below here. Look what it does. It makes a duplicate of this, right? So that if I move this down a couple levels, now I have that duplicate layer. Same thing, insert below, the same type, right? Same thing here, insert below, move down. There's my outside layer. Get rid of this drywall. And now this is stucco 2 sides. You guys are chiming in for the first time being on this feed. And I hope you're chiming in a lot because teach a lot of things here, teach a lot of cool things here. So, going to increase this line weight on the 2 outsides. This is just the way I like to represent my walls. I also don't really find it interesting to see all these layers, so a lot of times I'll make these be total fill layers. Let's just show you what this looks like. If you like a completely blanked out section, right, where it's all the same fill, or use the layer color. I like to do this as well. Use my layer color for a fill. And you have to go through one by one. This takes a long time, but hopefully you only do it once if you're only working on your own plans. So using this as a layer fill, and then I'm going to show you what I like to set up here. I like to set it up so that my new walls coming in are on a particular layer, and that layer drives the color. I get a solid fill on everything except for the party wall. I want to keep that party wall layered out so that you know that it's a party wall. But if we're using the same style exterior walls all throughout the project, I'd rather just see solid fill. It's a lot easier to represent this. So it's following the layer style right now. You can see it's dark gray. So then it's a matter of making sure that this goes by layer as well. Just the interior lines, that's it. Everything else, I want it to follow just the 2 outside layers. I want to follow the layers line weight, and then all the interior line fill, I want to follow my layer. That way I get a solid fill all throughout. So everywhere that this wall style is going to be used, right? The same thickness as this existing wall. It's the same makeup, following that same outside line. Actually, you know what? In fact, it did move a little bit. We're going to align this on the outside. I need to select all 3 of these walls. I have a wall tool selected now. Shift contain selection. Control deselect this wall. So we do that again in case you missed it. Okay. Let's say we're off of our wall tool. I have exterior wall. If I hover over this, straight exterior wall. It doesn't look like I have a quick tool set up for this for some reason. Do that real quick. I stop for these things because it improves workflow, your speed, understanding of the program. Exterior wall tool, I wanted. What's this? Straight wall tool, straight exterior wall. Straight wall tool, straight exterior wall. Oh, cancel. No. Oh, I already have it set up. Okay. Exterior wall tool. Now I have the exterior wall selected. That means I can do a restricted contain selection. Restricted contain selection. Holding my shift key and then marquee over walls. It's only going to select walls. Now I'm going to hold my control key. Restrictive contained deselection of that wall. Now I just have these walls selected, right? Kind of helpful for being able to make these edits in group settings. Unfortunately, you cannot group align walls with walls below. So, but I can now restrictively select, restrictively deselect, copy, and reflect about. Now hold on, looks like I was selecting a couple other walls as well. So let me try it one more time. Your wall tool, shift marquee select, control marquee deselect, copy, reflect about, center line, and it pastes it over here. Now I just only need to fix a couple little disconnected things. Pull this back forward, and then delete this, whatever this little marker here is. Not sure what that is. A couple deletions there. Okay. There we are. Same thing. We can grab this wall style now. We can add it to our library. This is a really simple thing. Railing, stucco, 2 sides. I have that tool enabled now from the library. We know that this is an open balcony. So we can grab this, select it, make sure it's aligned. Same thing. We can even draw a line here, center of this run, right? Now we select this, copy, reflect about, this right here. There we go. And it needs to be aligned again. Check this out. We'll draw a little inference line here. That's the center of this run. Grab these 2 walls. And we could have just done I'm going to switch to intersected selection. Intersect. What I've got. Now I can shift select. Wall tool selected. Shift select. Just copy center. Or I could have used the center. So really quick edits. Really quick things here. Check this out. We'll see it in 3D. This is going to change to stuck on the interior side. Look at that. Look how quickly that was done. Right? This is all set up now. Randy, I'm glad you're watching, man. I like the input. Yeah, you know, I put a link. Copy stack would be rad. If you're on Chief Talk at all, maybe I can drop this into this feed. Let me just grab this real quick. I think this is, you don't need to be signed in to see this, but clipboard tray. I made this post in the suggestions. So this is going to go into our comments in this feed. You're going to see this link. And you can go in here and chime in, and hopefully the suggestions team at Chief will see that suggestion and come back. So I have that suggestion, but another suggestion where Oh, undo states in toolbar where we get a slide graphic, see our undo states, and it gives us a little text representation of the component that was edited so that we can get back to a certain undo state. So those are a couple things that are comments in the feed. You'll see that in the comment section. And it does look like you do have to be signed in to see that stuff. So if you don't have an account with Chief Talk, you should get one because there's some awesome info there from some really killer guys that know what they're doing, including the Chief's own team. They're there. So that's good stuff. So we had this problem here, this wall right here. This wall needs to change, and also this wall needs to change, right? So Control Tab to my multi-unit. I'm going to actually close out this Lucen till end, and before I do, I'm going to do my Control Alt S for Save As, and this is going to be, maybe we'll just call it rotated. That would have been a better way of naming this. Rotated plan. So let me flip it back, and then Control Alt S, then call this flipped. Maybe that's a good naming. And we can Control W to close that out. Now I'm back into my multifamily. And it's looking good. Here's my next thing that I love doing is let's pick up what I want here. I want windows only, interior dims at exterior wall. I think I want windows center. We're just going to sample a couple of these dimension sets I've got. So this one, we're on floor 4. This is uninteresting. We don't have any fenestration here, so we'll go down a floor and do that same thing. Auto exterior. Yeah, see, doesn't show windows. So I'm going to just undo state on that. We're going to change this to windows and doors. There we go. So our auto exterior dimension tool, right? Now, let me undo state. Again, anytime I see a little improvement in my workflow, I take the time to go set this up. Auto dimensions, right? So I want this to be, it's called the auto dimension tool. And then if I expand the section, auto exterior dimensions, I like this to be auto ED, AED, auto exterior dimensions assign. Now I can just do that real quick. ED, bam. Real quick, down floor, DF, auto exterior dimensions. There we go, down floor, auto exterior dimensions. Super quick, right? And then you want to start pulling some interior dimensions. Same thing. I'd want this to be ID, which it is. I like to snap to this interior wall here, just like that, and then bring this in 2 feet. Just using tab input. Super easy way to do these dimension strings. Next thing I want to do is I want to make sure I've got some construction lines established here. So under my line section, construction line, right? Should just use same thing. Set up this hotkey. In fact, we should have a hotkey for customized hotkeys, right? Wouldn't that be clever? Why not? Customize hotkeys. Let's do this. Customize hotkeys. If that conflicts with anything, it does not. So easy way to get back to that. And then my construction line. Line tools construction line. The construction, I would call it the CLT, construction line tool. I'm fine with that. I'll remember that. So CLT, and I'll show you a couple tricks with this. I like to personally draw these to center of walls because it's the easiest way to bring these through and duplicate them because we don't have any way of automatically snapping to a main layer without dragging them. So to make this a really quick workflow, I just like to use my copy and then center tool, right? So now I'm centering on that wall. It's a lot easier for me. Same thing, just center on this wall here, right? So my construction line tool, place this here. I want to make sure that it's centered. There we go, copy, center here. And in fact, this should probably be in between here. So I want to leave some CAD inference lines, and these CAD inference lines are going to remain on every floor. I just want the division between these units, right? So with my line tool still active, now I have a restrictive selection. Shift marquee select just those CAD lines, copy them, go up floor, and then paste hold, up floor, paste hold, up floor, paste hold. I can go down floor, down floor, down floor. I'm back into this, get to my construction line, center on this line, copy, center, and one last one. The cool thing about construction lines is they work with the trim tool on your line. So if I want to trim this to a certain level, so all these construction lines trim to this level, we're going to get this trim here, trim objects. And now I can cut right through all those lines, and it's going to snap my construction line to that line I established. This will show up on every floor now, right? So last thing I need to do is just label those construction lines. This is a pretty well set up project. We've gotten pretty far in a short amount of time. So I don't know who's watching. I know Randy is. I'm so happy you're here watching, man. I love sharing this info with people. Hopefully you picked up something from this. You can rewatch this on the feed. I'm also going to pump this